Enjoy watching.
They say you should be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Well, today's video is all about people whose requests were granted, but resulted in some surprising and regrettable consequences. From high-piled pepperoni pizzas and cheesy beasts, to times people followed instructions precisely in the most face-bomb-worthy ways. Join me as we witness people getting served literally what they requested. We all love pizza. In fact, according to a 2019 survey, it's the world's most popular dish. And for good reason. However, great pizza is the sum of its parts, and one's choice of topping can be make or break. And for anyone who suffers from eliophobia, the fear of olives, you might want to look away. When a customer requested, in their own words, a very generous amount of olives, one cook decided to put his olives where his mouth was and served up this. Unbelievably, the customer was said to be very pleased, but if you ask me, this olive overload is truly a nightmare. And I'm afraid the nightmare only continues. Another olive fiend stopped by a pizza truck and was asked whether he wanted, quote, little olives or a lot of olives, to which he evidently chose the latter judging by this photo. God forbid that was actually the smaller serving, meaning the larger one might have looked something like this. Of all the pizza toppings, pepperoni certainly reigns supreme. And don't take it from me, ask the 64% of Americans who prefer its sumptuous, smoky flavor to any other topping. But as the saying goes, too much of a good thing can become bad. That sentiment was seemingly lost on one guy who didn't just request extra pepperoni, as he so eloquently put it, an ungodly amount of pepperoni, and well, that's certainly what he got when he received this cholesterol-popping pizza. Looks pretty ungodly to me. On that note, if you are in the market for something to clog your arteries, then Grant's Pizza House in Michigan has you covered. Behold the dragon scale pizza. This beast is so tightly packed with pepperoni that they have to be neatly staked into a scaly pattern, which you can imagine is quite the grease feast. Interestingly, according to one Redditor, this fierce menu item was the result of many customers regularly requesting as much pepperoni as possible. Well, they asked and Grant's Pizza House certainly listened. Better yet, popular pizza chain Little Caesars have even got in on the salami surge, with what they call the old world Fanceroni pepperoni pizza, featuring at least 100 pepperonis topped on top of one another. They'd be wise to sell this pizza with a side of health insurance and a waiver, if you ask me. Reckon you could defeat any of these pizzas? Hey, let me know down in the comments. While it's hard to believe, not everyone wants their pizza topped with a meat sweat-inducing heap of pepperonis. This next guy simply wanted a half pepperoni, half cheese pizza. However, what he actually asked for was a pepperoni pizza that's half cheese, which, admittedly, is quite an ambiguous way to put it. The result was, much to his surprise, literally what he asked for, a pepperoni pizza, with cheese only on one half. If you listen carefully, you'll hear the cries of cheese friends far and wide. After all, a 2017 study found that the average American consumes 37 pounds of cheese a year. That's roughly the weight of around 12 chihuahuas. In fact, one cheesy fella had such a hankering for the stuff that he requested 6 times the usual amount of cheese on his burger. The result, however, was much less a cheese dream than it was a gross mound of slop that melted in the heat of its container. Word of advice, if the cheese doesn't fit on the burger, then I think it's a sign you may have gone a little overboard. That said, it seems there's a market for these hot cheesy messes. They call them Volcano burgers. The idea being that you simply drench the entire thing in melted cheese. And why stop there? You might as well go ahead and lather yourself in it while you're at it. And that, folks, is all for today. Have you ever had any painfully literal request results like these? Let me know down in the comments and be sure to like and subscribe.
What do you think about it?
Once upon a time, we humans foraged mountains high and valleys low in order to appease our rumbling tummies. These days, all we need worry about this scavenging the aisles of Walmart, and while that can be just as wild at times, you can bet that all the food in grocery store is saved to eat, right? Well, let's just say that this video will give you a lot of food for thought. Take this for example. Have you ever noticed a weird wild spot on your banana? Well, I sincerely hope not, as the truth about this white spot, and the other horrifying food-based revelations we have got in store, will truly make your skin crawl. So what are these strange little mounds, and why should you be concerned? Well, these little white growths are actually the nests of spiders, and not just any spider, the Brazilian wandering spider, aka the world's most venomous. Their bite is so toxic that it instantly attacks the nervous system, causing nausea, blurred vision, excruciating pain, and ultimately, death. Rarely will you find them outside of their South American homeland, but due to their love of hiding in dark, moist places, they occasionally smuggle themselves between bananas, where they make the journeys from the tropical regions. They're harvested into your local grocery store and eventually your home. In fact, in 2013, a British family had to evacuate their London home as dozens of the deadly spiders sprouted from their bananas. 29-year-old Concy Taylor was midway through eating a banana when she spotted a suspicious white spot on the fruit. Mold, she initially assumed, but on closer inspection, she was horrified to see tiny spiders dropping out onto the table and scurrying around. The Taylor fled to safety and had their home fumigated of these deadly spiderlings. Luckily, even in their natural habitat, only 1 in 500 spiderlings of this species make it to adulthood, and their fangs aren't strong enough to pierce human flesh until they mature, meaning any real danger was fairly unlikely. Still, I don't think I'd have peace of mind until I knew each and every one of the little 8-legged lurkers were disposed of. Okay, so finding a nest of baby spiders is scary, sure, but imagine finding a more developed Brazilian wandering spider along for the journey. Well, this horror story became a reality for a Staten Island family in 2016, as they returned from the grocery store with a little more than they had bargained for. I'll let you see for yourself. If that were me, then let's just say this spider would be very flat and stuck on the bottom of my shoe. The breed of this grizzly spider is unconfirmed, though being from South America, it's likely one of those venomous Brazilian wandering spiders, seemingly the only one of its brood that reached adolescence in its little egg sac apartment. Considering the bite from one of these can ultimately lead to death, the only rational choice here would be to burn the banana and the house along with it, for good measure. And that's all the time we have for today, folks. If of this fact left you particularly grossed out, then let me know down in the comments and share your own if you have any. And as always, thanks for watching.